G7 is, again, something you don't usually give a toss about because it's usually everyone gets together and is like, good job, yeah, we're really good at what we do, and you do nothing. But this one has been really cringe, so I thought we'd demonstrate some of the cringe, as we did last time, except it got worse because now it's really hypocritical for a very bad reason. So the first thing here is just the Conservatives, with their lovely logo there, posting a picture of all the leaders standing far apart from each other because... Don't you know, COVID?
Social distancing.
Yeah, just have to do this. It's very important that all the leaders, social distance.
Keep up appearances.
And then there's the next one from Boris Johnson, showing him elbowing leaders as they turn up and then distancing from them. Because don't you know, there's a virus about. So.
There's a pandemic on. You don't want people getting sick.
They're outside, so they don't need to wear masks. So, they're all playing by the rules. Yeah, no, if we go to the next image, this is just something he posted on his Twitter account. Just pictures of them. You can go to the second image here. So they go out to watch the red arrows fly by. And you can see them at a barbecue. No social distancing, no masks, all having a drink, touching each other.
Can we go to the next one, John?
Patting each other's backs, standing all next to each other.
I mean, look at that. That's not social distancing, is it?
Nope.
Are we not worried about the virus anymore?
Nope.
Okay.
Never were. Embarrassing, isn't it? I mean, I'm sorry. I know the defenders of this will be saying, well, come on, these are the world leaders. They've all been vaccinated or some nonsense. That doesn't stop you from getting it or transmitting it, as we've been told a million times. All the staff around there had to wear masks.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that, all the staff in some of the pictures wearing masks.
More than half the country's vaccinated at this point.
Yep. You can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. We can't organise this legally. This is illegal if we were to organise this with the same number of people having a barbecue. Doesn't matter if you're a world leader, though. Could have been a Zoom call. Didn't have to be. But they don't care. And if you go to the next one here, of course, there's more images of this. And this is where, Viva La Fry is saying it's a big club and you ain't in it. George Carlin. Yep. Great quote. And you can see the Queen there with Joe Biden very close, having drinks.
And Trudeau in the background.
I mean, you remember the Queen when
Prince
she was
Charles.
there bearing Philip on her own with a mask on. No one to comfort her while she's crying about her husband's death. All theatre. I mean, if we didn't already. If you didn't need more evidence of that, it's just embarrassing to see.
They don't look like they're worried about catching anything, do they?
No, they've evaluated the risk to them and realised that it's not high. So have taken reasonable measures, which is just...
zero precautions, it appears.
Because that's proportional to the risk. And you and I can't do that. Just them. Wonderful. So if we go to the next one here, there's one thing I'd want to mention, which is the Aussie Prime Minister just chugging. Which I just love. If everyone else got a glass out and poured their drinks, he was just like, nah. Absolutely love that. But the reason this is all important, of course, is because the UK is about to extend its lockdown. So you remember January.
2 weeks to flatten the curve, mate.
In January, Reuters said the UK extends council powers until July 17th. Yeah, they're going to use them. So if we go to the next one, this is just the BBC reporting an hour ago that, this is going to be it. So COVID lockdown easing in England to be delayed by 4 weeks. So says the BBC 1 hour ago. So the Prime Minister is going to give a talk later today, after that barbecue, telling everyone we're not going to get rid of the rules. We're in fact going to keep them.
Make sure you social distance, folks.
4 weeks to flatten the curve, folks. Just 4 weeks. Just 4 more weeks.
The NHS is in danger.
Yeah. Social distancing. 2 meters apart. Hands, face, space. Hands, face, space. But Biden, you got a cocktail. It's embarrassing. It's utterly embarrassing to see. Anyway, so in here they say most current coronavirus rules will remain in place for another 4 weeks after the planned 21st of June unlocking, government sources have told the BBC. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is due to confirm the delay later at a news conference. Stage 4 of the government's roadmap out of lockdown would see all legal limits and social contact removed, which will now not be implemented. Which is not going to do it. Because don't you know, there's a virus about. So there is an argument for this, which I'm going to give it a fair hearing, which is that there are rising infections in the UK. So if you go down to the first graph here, you can see starting to go back up, and then there's the projected of what would happen, and then the argument being that if we do not have this lockdown, continue to stop people from being free, then we would have a rise in cases, which doesn't matter. I mean, as we've seen from the German study, didn't affect Germany in the slightest, so I don't know why it affect us, but whatever. So they say rising infections in the UK are being driven by the Delta variant, first identified in India. Not that that works. I like the BBC are sort of in the middle here. We renamed the Indian variant the Delta variant because we didn't want to be racist, and yet the BBC are just well, we look stupid just saying Delta, so we'll say both. Delta.
It's not very informative, is it?
No, it's just a useless term. Just say the Indian variant, which accounts for now 90% of infections. It is believed to be about 60% more infectious than the Alpha variant, which is first found in Kent and was previously dominant in the UK, and twice as likely to result in infected people being hospitalised.
What's the name of the Chinese variant?
Zero? Like 00? I mean, that's what you do if you're a programmer, but...
Well, yeah, I guess, but...
Alpha plus plus?
I don't know. But they act as if the Alpha variant implies that it was originating from Kent.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So the argument here being, if you give 4 more weeks, they can roll out 10 million more vaccines, which would mean you get about 50% of the population more who would be vaccinated, and therefore this is stopping it from overflowing. I don't buy it. I just don't buy it in the slightest.
Well, there were 8 deaths within 28 days of a positive test yesterday.
Yeah, but I mean, if they're arguing, well, look at the predictions, it could be going up, and I'm like, sure, it could go up, I don't care. I don't care.
Well, no, I don't care.
Well, the NHS.
But the point is, the apparently now 80% of the population have antibodies for coronavirus, and something like 55% of the population are vaccinated, with 40% double vaccinated, something like this.
Yeah.
And
if we go to the next link, we have exactly that number for this, which is 43.4% in the UK have double vaccinated.
Right, okay, there we go.
And it's like, as you say, 50 odd that have had the first one at least.
And more than now. And so literally 8 people died yesterday within, with a positive coronavirus test. Not from the coronavirus, but within 28 days of a positive test. So it's like, okay, well, how much better do we need it to get?
It's 43.9 now. I must have updated since I clicked on it, but okay.
Right, okay.
But you can see as well, just globally, like world leading in this. I mean, better than the US on a number of people who are vaccinated, in which case we trust the vaccine, don't we, boys? So what's the problem?
Not an anti-vaxxer, are you?
Boris? But never mind. Like, the cases are going up, therefore we've got to shut down. But the whole thing was about not having the NHS overwhelmed and everyone dead. But if 43% are vaccinated, and again, the people who are over 60, people who are in their 50s, I think we're down to handing them out to 12-year-olds probably at this point in the UK.
Well, they were saying that they want to roll them out to children, so why? Children don't die of the coronavirus.
So all the people who are likely to die, vaccinated.
Yeah, double vaccinated.
Like, double plus good. Don't worry.
Even the people who are not very likely to die, double vaccinated.
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing. And the next thing here being Ian Duncan Smith, former leader of the Conservatives and MP. Was he former leader? I think he was former leader of the Conservatives, if I'm correctly remembering. But he's pointing out what is blisteringly obvious, which is that they measured the balance of risk to themselves. We have the same freedom. There's no argument about this. This is unbelievably bad. Like, I know it's just an optics thing, maybe, but with the fact that he's about to reintroduce that, no, we're going to stop any people getting their freedom back, and also it's probably going to get worse. I mean, as the cases go back up, they'll bring in more lockdown measures. It's not going to get better.
Well, I mean, he's exactly right, though. The G7 leaders they had a risk assessment of their own, decided that it was an acceptable risk, and then went for it. You're not allowed to do the same.
Pleb. Anyway, but also the Theresa May speech. So this is on the part. I'm quite glad about how many views it's got now, like 1.7 million.
Wow.
Because it's resonating with people. Like, people are realizing, yeah, this is nonsense. And it's weird to see the occasional backbench MP getting it here. So we'll play the speech again, just the cut down version.
We will not eradicate COVID-19 from the UK. There will not be a time when we can say that there will never be another case of COVID-19 in this country. Secondly, variants will keep on coming. There will be new variants every year. If the government's position is that we cannot open up travel until there are no new variants elsewhere in the world, then we will never be able to travel abroad ever again. And the third fact that the government needs to state much more clearly is that sadly people will die from COVID here in the UK in the future, as 10 to 20,000 people do every year from flu. It's incomprehensible, I think, that one of the most heavily vaccinated countries in the world is one that is most reluctant to give its citizens the freedoms those vaccinations should support.
At least I like the way that she's framed that. Yeah, the government has taken away your freedoms and doesn't want to give them back.
That doesn't make any
Boris,
sense.
And it doesn't make any sense.
Like, they will have them forever if their current standard is that, well, a foreign variant exists, therefore no freedom for anyone.
Yeah.
Anyway, but if we go to the next link there, you can see also there's some other nonsense going on. So Biden's been an absolute embarrassment, and I don't like harking on about this because, I mean, everyone knows at this point, but I remember so many people being like, oh, Trump, he's so arrogant abroad and it makes us look, embarrassing. This is worse. This is much worse. I think you Americans would rather much have an arrogant dick wandering around being like, I'm team number one, pushing the Icelandic prime minister out of the way, because he is. It's America. Like, you guys are the biggest economy, the biggest military. All
Oh
the
no,
rest
you
of
got
it.
to stand behind Iceland.
Yeah, no, Iceland's more. No, but this guy being
No shade, Iceland. Just teasing.
Oh, come on, they know. I mean, they'll
Yeah,
probably.
well, exactly. Come on, what are we gonna do? Pretend?
What are we gonna do? Win a Cold War against them?
God damn it!
Yes, the one thing I hate.
Haven't we lost like 3 COD wars against Iceland?
Yeah, it's because we didn't want to use enough force as well. Could have been them.
Well,
too
I would
pussy
like
to
to assume that Britain could defeat Iceland.
Yeah, well, we did in World War II. Actually, we landed troopers and just took them over. Anyway, so this is Biden here, and it's embarrassing. So if we can play the clip here, this is him forgetting that Boris has already introduced South Africa.
Just say how pleased I am to welcome those who have just joined us, bringing some pretty spectacular weather with them. Prime Minister Modi, President Ramaphosa, President Moon, in just a minute, and the President of South Africa, and the President of South Africa, as I said earlier. Oh, you did? I did. No, I certainly did.
But you get to mention twice, so.
I'll go over that again. Let me tell you, we're delighted. I'm glad to say we're joined by Prime Minister Modi of India, who's on the line.
God, Biden just looks lost.
Ain't embarrassing. Like I introduced all the people, and he's like, yeah, and he's like doing with his fists. They're like, yes, the South African leader, as I said, Biden, you goddamn senile old man. But also the scumbag Yankee journalists, handlers there, coming out and being like, no, that's enough, we leave now, like kicking everyone out.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to that, are they? They're not used to people just staying and taking pictures of him being an absolute fool. But it's not the only moment. The other moment that was of particular note was him confusing Syria with Libya multiple times in a speech, which, not good. And then he gave an answer to a question from some journo, and I mean, I'm not fans of journalists, but this guy asked a reasonable question, which was about sanctions. It's like, well, the US wants Europeans to apply sanctions to Russia, but this harms our economy.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get the confidence there? And his answer is unbelievable. Let's play the third clip.
When you're having these conversations with European allies who are very concerned about these sanctions, how do you justify that? And what are your plans?
120 days. Give me a break. Need time.
Seemed like a reasonable question, actually.
Like, it was a completely
Shockingly.
fair question. Like, Europeans have to suffer their economy if you put these sanctions in place. And, willing to do that because they're playing horrible countries, Russia. But, and then his response is just 120 days. Give me a break. And just walks off.
No, you're the president of the United States. Nobody gave Trump a break. Why do you deserve a break?
It's just the nonchalantness of the whole thing as well. I don't give a... I guess, I mean, he doesn't have to, does he? I guess. So the next thing here is Biden wasn't the only one doing cringe. Boris did some cringe as well. So let's play the next clip of him talking about building back better in a gender-neutral way.
But also that we're building back better together, and building back greener, and building back fairer, and building back more equal, and how shall I, more in a more gender neutral and perhaps like a more feminine way. How about that? Apart from anything else.
He's just throwing stuff out there. How do you have a gender neutral, feminine way, Boris? God damn it.
Yeah, I think he realised in the middle. Oh God, what have I said?
Yeah, I've wandered into unknown territory, and I didn't mean to come
So
here.
then he just blurts out, no, in a feminine way, and he's like, oh, God. Embarrassing. Just, I don't know what on earth he's doing with his life at this point.
God.
I mean, I know people wanted to excuse when he said, what is it? There's nothing wrong with being woke. And I'm sorry, I'm going to hold him to it because he keeps blurting out stupid stuff like this. I mean, I wonder if it's his girlfriends, the same,
Maybe.
Woko Ono situation. Oh, wife now, yeah. A secret marriage. But, the Woko Ono with Prince Harry destroying his soul and turning him into an embarrassment. I wonder if a similar thing's happening.
What happened to the Boris of, letterboxes and things like this?
Yeah, based Boris, what happened?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess we'll find out. It's like Theresa May, weirdly. Like, I wonder if he comes back to being a backbencher after this, if he'll become based like Theresa May, calling for the end of lockdowns.
Maybe.
We can only dream. But why are they no good when they're in the seat? Anyway, so the only good things out of this came from the Queen, because the Queen is cool. I like the Queen. So this is her going to some, when they were taking the pictures for the social distancing, and the fact that she doesn't really have any power in this situation, I think, absolves her of a lot of the nonsense. And you can see, like, she joins in, and then in the middle, she just says, "Are you meant to look like you're supposed to be having fun?" And then Boris is like, "Yes, definitely, because we're all having fun." And it's like, nah, no one's having fun here. Like, this is embarrassing. It's embarrassing to do.
Well, they were probably having fun at the barbecue and they didn't have to social distance.
Yeah, but the next thing, of course, her cutting a cake. So she was meant to cut some cake, and she pulled a sword and decided to do it with the sword.
Based.
And some aide was like, there is a knife. And she says, yeah, of course I know. Of course I know there's a bloody knife. Just like, don't care.
Give me the saber.
Like, she messes it up as well. Like, she turns it upside down and just
Well, she's 95 years old
Yeah.
and probably hasn't wielded a saber in a few decades.
gotta like she's knighting you. She's gonna cut off an arm. But I just love how the aide. We don't have the clip, but she says in the background there is a knife, and the Queen just responds, "I know there is." I don't care. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
So the political machinations out of it seem to have been largely nothing burgers, but the next thing here is the final thing, which is just the...
I can't help but notice that the ladies have got the sword upside down and they're trying to cut the cake with it.
Yeah, the Queen turned upside down for some
But
reason.
so does Camilla.
Yeah. I don't know.
And Kate stood right there. Kate, come on. You know how to operate a sword, surely.
Hopefully.
Sharp bit down. But anyway.
So this is interesting for us, especially in Britain, because... Macron tried to pull a funny situation. So the headline here from the Telegraph: Boris Johnson infuriated after Emmanuel Macron suggested Northern Ireland was not part of the UK. I think the Europeans have something in mind, don't they?
That's how I feel about Calais in France, though.
Yeah, it's part of Africa. So
Part of England.
the Prime Minister attempted to explain his frustration with the Northern Ireland Protocol by asking Mr. Macron what he would do if sausages from Toulouse could not be moved to Paris. The French president was said to have retorted by arguing that the comparison did not work because Paris and Toulouse were part of the same country, incorrectly suggesting that Northern Ireland is not part of the UK. So, in response, some leaders, as Boris said, some leaders need to get into their heads that the UK is a single country. He also got a nice quip back later on when the French delegation brought wine, and it was like really old wine to be like, haha, look, fancy. And Boris tried it and then was like, oh, yeah, I mean, it's as old as the last time you guys won a war, so... So, yeah, but I am kind of worried about Northern Ireland, like what's going on there. I feel like the Europeans are going to try and sort of shift it off.
What's interesting about Macron's statement there is it's very much a blood and soil statement. Like, they're Irish and they're part of a different physical continent with a different bloodline.
I mean, this is the IRA's position.
This is the IRA's position, yeah. It presumably would also be the Nazi position.
But I love that, like the left wing. Why? Because they're Nazis. Oh, interesting.
Yes, they are. If you enjoyed this segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can watch the full broadcast live every weekday at 1 p.m. UK time on lotuseaters.com.